pray tell, might be in this? That's a familiar logo right there. Well, considering you probably already clicked this video, kind of already know what's in this, but today we are opening up this box for the goodies that lay inside, and something that I am very excited for. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, I got a hold of McFarlane Justice League versus Godzilla versus Kong and Batman set. We are going to open this bad boy up and check them out and see McFarlane's attempt at the Monsterverse and how it stacks up to some of the other figures that are out there. As you can see, this is a very big box. So much that you can see all the other junk that I have right now because I'm in the process of a move, so you'll please excuse that. But it is a new year. I wanted to start off our channel with something fun, so got this guy in a couple of days ago. Came in the same time as this Megalon, so if you haven't watched that video, go check it out. So let's get this guy open. Oh, lordy. Oh my goodness. Look at that. All right, let's get this guy out of here. Look at that so much, I can't even fit it in the whole screen. So, here we go. We got Batman, we got little Batman, and we got Kong. So this is McFarlane's Multiverse. It is the official crossover with the Monsterverse and DC. Kind of shocked that McFarlane's doing these figures, but shouldn't be too surprised considering they have a deal with Warner's for the whole DC line. Now, here's the thing. I am a big fan of the McFarlane DC Multiverse line. I had a huge collection of it before I moved. Unfortunately, had to downsize, but I have not been too picky. Yes, they have had some iffy figures here and there, but for the most part, I have been very happy with them. I know a lot of people go, well, they make 5,000 Batmans and Supermans. Well, guess what? That's what sells. If you want that, Martian Manhunter figure or that Lobo figure, got to sell some Batmans because you got to keep that line rolling. That is not why you're watching this channel, for me to talk about Batman. We're talking about Monsterverse. We're talking about Kong. And what is hopefully the first of several figures in this line. Hopefully this thing sells well enough that, I've heard rumors that we might be getting Superman and Godzilla, and I am very curious as to what McFarlane Godzilla will look like. But that said, let's take a look at this box. So as you see, it is the standard black DC Multiverse box. On the back, got this beautiful artwork. I believe this was one of the covers from the comic book. And if you haven't read this book, this is absolutely one of my favorite comic books in the last decade. I am such a huge fan. We actually were honored to have Brian Buccellato join us at G-Fest. If you haven't listened to that episode, you can find it on our podcast stream or on this channel, so go check that out. But that said, Batman and Kong, beautiful artwork on the back. Absolutely stunning with a little bit of the Batman versus Kong there. We got that. So, and with the rest, there you go. The logo. Now, I have to say, this is a huge, this is my hand with it. So this is already telling you the size of this figure set. So it's pretty big. So this looks like to be a standard McFarlane DC line, DC Multiverse figure. So it's going to stand about 7 inches. This looks like a page puncher, McFarlane's little tiny line that they're selling with a comic book, and you get a little figure, and I think there's a little something else that comes with it. I've not bought these personally, mostly because I've had to limit my collecting, but these are meant for kids. But I do appreciate them putting one of these to put to scale with Kong. Kong is the thing we're going to be looking at. Comes with an extra head, and he is a big boy. He looks bigger than pretty much most of the other figures I've ever got my hands on. And I've had the Dark Side. I believe there's a Doomsday out right now that might be as big, but I think Kong is bigger. Now, for clarity, I bought this off their official eBay store. I know that this was set for a February release, but it seems like they jumped the gun, start selling it once they got into their warehouse. I know other people have it on pre-order, and I've been seeing people mad because folks have been getting their orders before their other pre-orders, like off Big Bad Toy Store and whatnot. But I had a friend tell me that he's actually seen this at GameStop already. So if you can't wait, you can your options are McFarlane.com, their eBay store, or go check out your GameStops because they seem to be shipping out there. So without further ado on that, let's get to opening this guy up and get into the nitty gritty of these figures. Here they are in the straps, in the plastic. Give a better look. And then on the back, comes with a card and a stand for Batman. I'll try to get all that out in a second. So let me unhook these guys because these are strapped in pretty well, and we'll be right back. Everything is out of the plastic after wrestling with this for a minute. So we have a collector card, so including the art was on the back of the box. Very cool art. I forgot who did the artwork on this. So now we have an extra head, so the more stoic Kong. We have our Batman, our 7-inch, 6.5-inch scale Batman, along with the tiny page puncher Batman. It's actually pretty cool. It's the first time I'm actually holding one of these page punchers in my hand, and for what is essentially a small figure that would be sold at a Dollar Tree in one of those, like, hey, going to a kid's birthday party, here's a quick present that's going to get tossed in about 6 weeks in the trash. These are actually pretty cool. The little 3 3/4 inch figures. So there you go, comparison to Batman. And then we have our main man Kong right there in all of his glory. So that is what you get in the set for $70. Now that is the retail I paid on it, not including shipping. So that is what I believe the MSRP on the set runs on most retailers. So you paid a little more, that's up to you. So let's break these guys down. Let's see how they stack and compare, and whether or not this is actually worth your time. If you're not even a comic book fan, if you're just a monster fan, is it worth owning? Okay. So let's start with the page puncher. So this is Batman as he appears, at least his look in the particular crossover comic, the Justice League versus Godzilla versus Kong. So he's got the big black bat. He's kind of got this Batman stern grit, like teeth grit to him. This is a tiny little figure. Now this is just here for scale. I understand putting it in because they have these already part of their page puncher line, so it makes sense. Monsters are big, Batman's a normal dude, but it is a bit of a quality when the cape is like a vinyl. He doesn't have much in sense of articulation. Moves in the arms, legs, head moves right there, as you can see. So overall, teeny tiny little guy. He is meant to be in scale with Kong, but still cool nonetheless. Like I said, I've not really had the chance to open any of these page punchers. They're not bad. They're not bad for what they are. They're supposed to be like $8 or $10 for the set, but you get a comic book with it and I think a little accessory or something. But for kids, this is pretty fun, and I understand putting it, like I said, you need something for scale. But knowing McFarlane, you wouldn't be satisfied if it was just Kong and a teeny tiny little Batman. So moving on, he gave us a proper McFarlane Batman. Now, this one I like a lot. This highlights what I actually love about McFarlane's DC lines. Incredible sculpt. I have absolutely love the sculpt on this thing. So, much like many of McFarlane's toys, completely articulated everywhere under the sun. Now, he does have some box stiffness on him, as you can see, but that is part and parcel. So there is a leg joint that looks like it moves. I'm not, nope, don't want to do that. Yeah, so you can see the box stiffness is pretty hefty on it. Now, he doesn't come with any accessories, no other hands. He's got this cool pose right here. So let's get this up. So there you go. So Batman's got a mean facial sculpt. He moves at the chest, but just in general, this is a very sturdy, very well made McFarlane DC figure. I am a fan of this line. I know it has its detractors. I know some people have been mad about the constant Batmans, the resells of various colors of using the same molds, but this is the toy game we have today, people. So I give McFarlane a pass because they know what's selling. They know that Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, they're the big three. So you got to make figures of those to sell the rest of the line. Like I said, you want that Martian Manhunter, you want that Guy Gardner, you got to sell some Batmans. But this is a very cool Batman. So hewing to the look from the comic. He's got a cool cape. I like the rubber cape a lot. It gives it a nice molded feel. But he does have a stand, which he had used, but it seems like he stands a lot better without the stand. It's right here. Sorry, I apologize for the wonky camera work on this one. I left my tripod in my car. It's being worked on right now. So, but again, if you are just a kaiju fan, but you might be just a passive comic book fan, you can't go wrong with having a Batman figure in your collection here or there. And considering that this line, this comic book, in many aspects shouldn't exist, but it does, and it's awesome. I'm quite happy to have some DC heavy hitters along with my kaiju. Like, I'm a lifelong comic book fan. I love me some Batman. I am a Marvel guy, but not recently. So, that's another tale for another day. And I absolutely adore this Batman. This is a very, very cool Batman. So he is a full, close to 6.5, 7 inches. Very big figure. Awesome. These normally run about $20 on store shelves, depending on the version you're getting. So already with these two, that's where your money's going into in the cost of this set. But you're not here for Batman. You're here to see the big game, Kong. So what do we think of Kong? Now, this is a pretty boss sculpt. I actually dig the sculpt quite a bit. One thing McFarlane does very well, it is sculpting. And this captures both the movie appearance in many ways, because clearly he doesn't really have the beard. So this is more Kong based on Skull Island, I'm going to say, than, Godzilla versus Kong. I am, partial to the beard. But this is clearly like a Kong from before. Again, licensing. That's the one where they went with in the comic books. So, but very detailed figure, top to bottom. Now, here is the downside. He is very limited in his articulation. So I've already seen people have issues with this with the promo pictures that McFarlane has put out. Yes, he only moves at the arms, or at the shoulders, if you will. So the hands do move right there. And there is absolutely no movement in the legs. None whatsoever. And it looks like the body is glued on. So there is your issue. And I know a lot of people are going to have issues with this because essentially this harkens back to a darker age of McFarlane figures. The Staction figures, if you will. Essentially, you're just getting a plastic statue. Now, I get why they did it, because this set was already $70. And this Kong looks to be a pretty new sculpt. Like, they completely sculpted this from scratch. I don't think there's any mold reuse on this thing. I can't tell. Now, this clearly isn't used from anything from their Raw 10 line, that was a completely different scale. And as far as I know, Grodd or any of those did not have this type of body. So I believe Kong is brand new in his sculpture. So I give him credit for that, giving us something completely new. But it is limited. And I'm going to assume that the cost of tooling an articulated figure of this size would have been astronomical, and the set would have been over $100. And if it's over $100, I don't think a lot of people are going to buy it. So where does that bode if the rumored Godzilla is coming? Well, we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, I can already tell this is going to be an issue. It's not a big issue with me because, again, actually, no. Oh, sorry. I was wrong. He has movement in the chest. Wow. Okay, so that just loosened up. Okay, so he moves at the waist and the arms. Legs are essentially just there to hold him up, and he is bottom heavy, so that way he stands pretty well. Like, there's no big issue with him standing. So you can kind of get a bit of a dynamic pose, but you're not going to get anything near even what Toy Biz has been doing. So let me swap the heads so we can see how he looks with the other head, and we'll come back to that. Okay, after a little elbow grease, I got Kong's roar head off, and to give you a better look at that right there. So again, say what you will about the articulation, but the sculpt in this thing is damn good. The paint job is great too. That's, again, can't fault McFarlane on detailing, because that's one thing his company has always been good at, is giving you a very detailed figure. Even though it might not be in what you call an action figure format, it's still pretty good. So let's go with Stoic Kong. There you go. Now this one does have a little more of the beard on him. So you get some of the beard action right there, which is just interesting. This one, not so much on the beard. This one's got the beard. So let's get him on there. All right. There we go. It's on there. Not there enough. All right. So there you go. Kong with his stoic head on. Gives you a better idea. Let me zoom in there. There we go. So, as you can see, he looks awesome. He does have the beard. I was completely wrong. Let's do the side-by-side head. This one doesn't have the beard really, but much angrier face. Actually, let's do this side-by-side so you can get a good look at the head style. This one actually feels a bit bigger. So, while I got you, let's go through the detailing on this figure a little bit better now that I can see more. So, yeah, the fur, very well detailed. The paint job is actually quite good, as you can see. Like, again, cannot fault McFarlane on their detailing, their sculpting, and their painting. Now, you can say all that you want about articulation. And yes, some of the DC figures have been a little less comic accurate than some would have wanted. I'm looking at you, Grifter. But overall, I would say that this line has had more hits than misses. So I am not as judgmental, especially considering that my love of toys. So that is Kong. And this is this figure set. So I'll give you real quick. Once again, Batman. Come on, focus up. There you go. So as you can see, the Batman head sculpt is quite good. My camera wants to focus here. So you are getting a quality set, I would say, for the $70 that you are paying. Now, is that worth it to you? That is the grand question. To me, this is worth it. $70, considering the size of the figure. I'm getting 3 figures and a collector card. Again, let me get that better. See if I can focus up on that. There we go. All right, and just let you read that. There we go. So that is what the back of the card says. Right there. Apologize. Camera works a little off today. But it's new year. Try new things. Now, as I said, is it worth $70? To me, yes. Because I, one, love this comic. I'm still blown away that there's a figure set for this. And there's a McFarlane Monsterverse Kong out here. And I do love it. Now, considering that I'm an old dude, I'm probably not going to be playing with my toys, and these are mostly for display, so it works for that purpose. If you have kids, these are actually great. These are perfect for kids, especially if you got young boys that want awesome-looking toys. Absolutely get this for them, because these are built to be played with. Again, credit where credit's due, McFarlane, he builds toys to be played with, because at the end of the day, what's the point of having toys if you can't play with them? That's the purpose of them. They are to be played with. So if you're looking at this for your kids, this is absolutely a perfect set. $70, it's a little more expensive, but considering that an average Godzilla figure now, let's just case in point from my last video, this Megalon is $30. This is 30. This is a piece of vinyl. So for $30, you're getting this, but for $70 to $40 more, you get 1, 2, 3 figures, and with an interchangeable head. So I would say that's a deal. I know you're already saying $70, but hey, that's the time we live in, and considering that these are licensed figures, this is, McFarlane has to pay licensing fee to Legendary to get these things done. So I think that's why we got Kong first, because Legendary has much more control over that than they do Godzilla. But I'm hoping against hope this does sell well, and that we get Superman and Godzilla. That is the rumor. My hope against hope is Luthor with Mechagodzilla. I actually would love to see McFarlane take on the other monsters from the comic, including Behemoth and Kazmataz, and I believe Tiamat was in there as well. So it would be awesome if we can get some nicely high-end detailed figures. Even though they may not be the most articulate, I would absolutely adore the rest of the Justice League, and maybe even some of the Legion of Doom with these monsters. So before we wrap up, I completely forgot. Let's put Kong. Let's put Batman. Ooh. Kong's hand, see if he fits. And yes, Batman fits in Kong's hand. That's actually really cool. I'm sorry, I love that. I might actually go see if McFarlane did a Supergirl in this page puncher. I'm not sure he did. He might have, and that'd be perfect for Kong, considering if you've read the comic and the relationship between Supergirl and Kong. Still, say what you will, that's an awesome shot. Kong holding Batman, that's amazing. That right there has me in love with this set. Is it the most perfect set? No, but I kind of love that it exists, and I am definitely hoping for more. Well, there you guys go. That is my review of McFarlane's DC Multiverse Justice League versus Godzilla versus Kong Batman and Kong set. Like I said, hopefully the first of many in these figure lines. Remember, if you like what you see, we do have a show. It's called The Kaiju Kingdom Podcast. You can find us at thekaijukingdompodcast.com. And if you don't like to download, you can always stream us on your favorite podcast streamers, including Apple, Spotify, or wherever else you might find better podcasts. We're also on social media. It's right there. We're on X, we're on Instagram, and we're on Facebook. That is where you can keep up with all the latest breaking news in the world of giant monsters. And if you want to reach out, say hi, leave a comment. That's the best place to do it. And remember, if you like this video, we got a lot more on our channel. Maybe hit that like and subscribe. I'm not telling you what to do, free country, but I'm not going to say no if you do. And on that note, that will wrap up this edition of the Koffers. Thanks for watching, guys. And we'll see you next time.